Cozy Here With You by miloqu. Chapter 20. Hit Me. No one's point of view. The car spread across the dry road, stars gently becoming visible in the sky. I can't believe we almost forgot Sarah. Mina laughed, her pink hands trailing through her even pinker hair. She turned in her seat, attempting to face the trio in the back. Kirishima and the freestanding of his dark hair falling into his face, cupping it perfectly. He was squished up in the middle of Bakugo and Kaminari. Kirishima, move over. Bakugo grunted, shoving the head over with his shoulder, the other making a few sounds of annoyance or pain every few seconds. The blonde was trying to get Kirishima away from him, trying not to get flustered at how close they were. Kirishima didn't realize it. He couldn't move, but he was pressed up to Bakugo, his arms and legs almost lapping over the blonde. He might as well have been sat on his lap. I can't, Bakugo. I'd be on top of Denki. He laughed in reply. Bakugo felt his cheeks heating up slowly, losing the ability to fight his emotions. Why can't Pikachu sit in the middle? He's smaller than you. The blonde complained, pushing his face away from the looks the others were gripping him. I get called sick in the middle, bro. Kaminari replied gently, resting his head on Kirishima's shoulder, yet still looking up at the blonde. Kirishima looked down at Kaminari and laughed. Bakugo felt his body heat up, and he saw the smile on his wanted face while he looked at the other boy. I feel bad. Jiro and Sarah have to stay in another cab. Mina sighed, looking back at the trio again as she attempted to change the subject. Ah, shush. Bakugo responded with a lack of eye contact, knowing that Mina was doing, but being stubborn to accept that he was doing the right thing. I'm sure you're much happier in there with all those lovebirds. The more so yellow than blonde teased the two, so to say, lovebirds in a question, but Bakugo and Kirishima replied to the other's comment with just a shock and annoyance. Yelled at the word, "What?" I'm kidding, he smirked, pulling his head away from the other, leaning on the window, feeling the moment of the curl jerk his head forwards and back slightly. Eijiro, Sarah said nervously, looking at the female. Yeah? She looked up from her bright phone screen to meet his eyes. He had a dead expression, not caring enough on her face. Do you know what's up with Bakugo? He was really red and trying hard not to look at everyone. Is he sick? A smirk spread across her face. I know what's up, and it's not that. What is it then? Sarah tilted his head, confused. He likes someone. What? Bakugo? Art Bakugo? Yep. No way. Who? Sarah got progressively closer to Jiro, excited to know who the lucky extra was. Their faces might as well have been touching. From any other two people, they'd pull away. But for close friends, this was no. He had... Before she could finish, the male cut her off. He replied in shock, Jiro finally getting annoyed and pushing him back. Yes, he has red hair. She turned her head to look at the window, looking like she was looking out the window, but her eyes were still on the male. Oh my god, Bakugo likes Kirishima? He laughed under his breath, feeling in total shock. Basically everyone knows but Kirishima himself. She pushed off the door again, slipping her phone into her bag. Wow. Silence filled the call for a few minutes, the sound of the road and engines audible, the quiet tone of the radio too. We should try and get someone to kiss, Jiro hinted, pointing to the car driving in front of them with her thumb. Definitely. 2 cars pulled up to the large castle of a house. Yamamomo's mansion. Rich girl. Kaminari laughed gently as he placed his feet on the floor outside the car. Would you shut it, you goddamn charger? Bakugo groaned, stepping out of the car. Kirishima, not having to get out, climbed out of Bakugo's side. So is everyone ready? The pink-skinned female jumped up into the air, laughing softly. Hell yeah, Kaminari yelled, putting his thumb on his left hand in the air and flicking his head down gently, exaggerating his excitement. This is gonna be fun. Kirishima clapped his hand together. Bakugo just scoffed, as expected, and pulled away from the group, entering the house. We should follow him, Kirishima said, his gaze moving at his outfit, and it hit him what he was wearing. Insecurity and embarrassment burned in his mind. The femininity of his outfit, how tight it was, how it made him feel like he was going to collapse. Kaminari and Jiro had gone. Sarah was still walking up the stairs, glowing at the two who were out of sight. I don't think I can go in, Mina, the redhead muttered as he gripped onto the shirt and pulled it away from his body in a nervous action. What do you mean? Pinky stopped on their tracks, looking back at the other. I don't like this. His voice heaved as he put a hand in his hair and tugged it gently. Hey, it'll be okay. Her voice softened as she moved back over to Kirishima, putting a small hand on his shoulder. You can do it. Kirishima felt his legs become shaky. He grabbed Mina, burying his face in her shoulder. She ran her fingers through his hair. It'll be okay, baby. Don't panic. She felt him nod, felt him shaking less. Plus, he looked at her in her eyes. I know Bakugo likes it. The blonde looked back at the entrance hall, seeing the female with pink skin and his crush walking through the door. What took you so long? The impatient blonde asked, making out that Kirishima and Mina being slightly behind them. Hello, the group turned the focus on the familiar and kind voice belonging to a blockhead female, Momo. Hey, Momo, Mina replied, her face becoming with excitement. Can we go in? You all look wonderful, come in. She spun and walked down the hallway into a large room filled with people, lots of people. There was a kitchen area and an outside door area, which was a porch under the starlight, the moon hitting down perfectly. Only a few people stood out there because of the nipping cold of the night. Mina, I'm so glad you made it. Tetsu ran to the pink female, smiling. You too, Betsy. She wrapped her arm around the other, causing Tetsu to blush bright red. I forgot she liked her. Bakugo muttered under his breath, the eyes of the other blonde darting over. She what? Denki yelled out, attracting the eyes and ears of the majority of the room. Bakugo looked at the blonde. He had his pellet hand trapped around his mouth and his eyes wide. Over here, now, Bakugo commanded, storming away from his little group, watching the others warily follow him. What do you mean? Who likes who? Tetsu and Mina? Kaminari asked, getting too close to comfort with Bakugo. Yes, Tetsu looked raccoon eyes. He said with a shove to Denki's chest. She has for a while now. I was supposed to help her with Mina, if she helped me with Kiri. Denki relaxed, putting his hand behind his shoulder, instantly having it yanked off. We'll get you and Kirishima together, and her and Mina. Bakugo looked at the smaller, his eyes growing with confusion. You don't like the alien queen over there? Denki laughed, snorting and almost falling over. Bakugo raised an eyebrow and scoffed. No, I like Eijiro. It was all falling together. The logic didn't make sense, but nothing ever did in Bakugo's life. Go talk to her then. She likes you back. The blonde shoved the other blonde into the crowd, biting back a reassuring smile. He will never accept having character development. He was perfect the way he was. Denki pushed through the group. He yelled out Jiro's name, searching for the purple-haired female he so longed for. There were so many people jumping and dancing and filling up the juice and snacks. He yelled her name again, and that's when he found her. Jiro! She turned to look at him, Sarah raised an eyebrow. I was looking for you. I need to say something. Okay, give me a second, Sarah. She pressed past the few in her way from the blonde and walked with him to a quieter area, a calmer and less crowded place. The hallway on the second floor near the bathroom on the right. No one was hanging around here. Yeah, what is it? She looked at him. I'm a fucking idiot. He grabbed her chin and pulled her face into a kiss. She was taken by surprise, yet she returned the face. The kiss was broken with a gentle feel. The two sat closer, eyes opened and looking at each other. Drunk already? Jura asked, laughing gently. No. He felt silence fall after his response. Like you. He covered his mouth after pulling away from hers, stuttering out his words. He could hardly hum a sentence. His actions were just hitting him, and he became a mess full of blushing and heavy breathing. I like you too. Think he knew this, yet he had still been fearing her answer. No, Bakugo, tell. He looked at her. Why are you talking like you just learned to talk? She laughed, walking up and putting his hand on my waist. And he couldn't finish and just ended up shrugging. The female let out a laugh and grabbed his shirt, pulling him down to a kiss again. This time, she pinned him to the wall, sinking down to make it easier for her as he was taller. The kiss lasted a few seconds before the couple broke for air. Bakugo poked his head around to see the couple sharing eye contact, both smiling. He scuffed and discreetly removed himself from the scene, getting lost in the crowd again. Bakugo! Eijiro ran up to him, trying to get her voice louder than the music of the crowd. What? He yelled. Have you seen Tetsu? His eyes widened at her question. Did you hear me? I said, have you seen Tetsu? She repeated. Over there, he yelled, pointing to where he last saw the green-haired female. Mina nodded in response and followed his blind directions. Bakugo needed to get out of this crowd for at least a minute. He wanted to go home. Well, not fully alone. With one person he seemed to need every second of the day. Shitty hair! Bakugo yelled past the crowd. Kirishima had since changed clothing. He now had a jacket over his tank top and was wearing some jeans. According to Bakugo's face, he still looked hot. Hey, Bakugo, Kirishima responded. Bakugo gasped the other arm and dragged him away from the crowded area and to some chairs. He sat down on one and threw Kirishima on the other. Whose jacket? He asked angrily, wanting Kirishima to wear his jacket, not someone else's. It's Todoroki's. He brought an extra, so he lent it to me. Kirishima shouted over the music. I felt feminine and uncomfortable, and the thing Mina made us wear, so I sort of changed. Bakugo nodded in response. Yeah, I got that. Kirishima laughed. I'll be back to talk to you later. See you, Bakugo. And there he was again, Bakugo alone, stuck in a crowd, until Mina shoved Tetsu into a table and started making out with her. Hey! Bakugo angrily streamed at the two, jumping from his seat to pull them off the table. Who drugged you? I gave in and confessed to her, Tetsu croaked, sitting on the table as Mina stood up. So everyone's getting together except me and Kiri. Great, he complained. You'll get your man, Mina replied, awkwardly tapping the blonde's shoulder. He angrily grunted and slapped her hand away, walking away from his friends once again. 2 couples now. That's 2 couples. Yet him and Kirishima still have no chance. No love, no possibility. Kiri was straight. Bakugo knew he had to be, for sure. Before the blonde had realized what time had passed, it felt like seconds, but it had been 3 hours. The party was bound to end late, very late, and it was now around 11 p.m. Bakugo hadn't realized anything was happening. He spent his time wandering on his phone or trying to get his classmates to small talk. Kirishima? He watched Kirishima take a shot at what looked like beer and then tumble over. Hey, Baku, bro, Kirishima said wildly and awkwardly. Who the hell let Kirishima have alcohol? Bakugo screamed at the top of his lungs. He picked up the redhead biter style. He needed to get Kirishima out of here. Bakugo, there's so many people. Kirishima put his arms around the taller's neck and buried his face in the crook of his neck. Bakugo held back the screams as his face lit pink. We're going outside. He scooped the drunken male into his arms, carrying him away from the crowd to reason with the other. You're going home. He angrily muffled. He placed Kirishima on the outside sofa. Because of the cold night air, no one was outside. No one but the two of them. No, Kirishima replied. I'm having fun. Your fun is illegal, dumbass. The blonde groaned and sat next to Kiri. My fun is fun. Kirishima went to get up, but stopped when he saw the crowd and there. Bakugo was right. He was getting too overwhelmed with a large group of people. A strong grip yanked him down by the jacket, forcing him to sit back on the sofa. Bakugo looked Kirishima in the eyes. Why do you have to be so beautiful? He complimented Kirishima, his cheeks heating up. You're lying. Kirishima turned his head away, his cheeks going red. No, Bakugo said, pulling Kirishima to look at him face to face. You're dumb, you're an idiot, Bakugo muttered. And I can't stop thinking about you every second of the goddamn day. Anger filled his tone. Kirishima grabbed Bakugo's wrist, pushing it away. The redhead climbed up. You don't need to yell, he sighed. That's really not manly, Bakugo. Bakugo jumped up too, grabbing Kirishima, spinning him around. Why do you have to do everything out of anger? He yelled. Bakugo's angry face leapt, twisting into sympathy. Is this out of anger, then? He yelled. Bakugo grabbed Kirishima's jaw and pulled him into a kiss. At first, the redhead gasped in shock. His eyes spread out wide, but then slowly closed, and he relaxed into the kiss. The moon dancing across the two boys. The night slowly grew warmer and warmer. The kiss was slowly broken, the two keeping their eyes closed. Bakugo kept his hand holding Kirishima's chin, and the two totally taking deep breaths. Slowly, they opened their eyes to look at each other. That was manly, Kirishima muttered. Bakugo looked gently. He leaned his head down onto Kirishima's. Come on, we should get home, he sighed, pulling himself away from the redhead. Kirishima nodded, confused for a second, but then ran a hand through his hair, looking up at Bakugo. The two traveled through the crowd of dancing teens. Bakugo! Mina yelled, rushing to Bakugo and Kirishima. We're leaving. Kirishima's drunk. Mina stopped, looking at their joined hands, smirking. Okay, have fun. She walked back into the crowd, letting the two walk off together. They sat on the stairs of Momo's house, waiting for the taxi to show up. Kirishima had his head leaned on the blonde's shoulder, quietly snoring as he slipped into a light sleep. The headlights of the car became visible in the night-coated road. Hey, get up, Bakugo whispered, shaking Kirishima gently. The redhead looked up half asleep and then got up with the blonde and climbed in the car. You a high, please? Bakugo asked the driver. Kirishima looked over at Bakugo, who was looking down and doing something on his phone. A smile formed on the redhead's face. He leaned down on Bakugo again, closing his eyes as they traveled back to the dorms. The two walked down the halls with a gently lit dorm, neither one of them saying a word. Bakugo? Kirishima began. The blonde looked at him. A look of what spread across his face. As Kirishima talked, his eyes widening and his cheeks flushed. You know I'm not drunk. End of chapter 20.